the pace of change in our industry is phenomenal, and it is changing faster, and there are things happening in the industry you need to be aware of, keep up with, so that you maintain viability in your role as a real estate agent. So that being said first. Second is, oh, by the way, on the training at AveryHess, I noticed there's another company having training today, kind of along the same lines. They were charging $79, so here it's free, and you get breakfast and everything else. There's little cards that either you've been given or that are sitting on your chair. There's some pens. Take a moment and write down a question that you might have for Amy, a problem that you have faced, because, you know, as she goes through talking about growing her business, she can probably touch on, you know, some of those questions, or maybe touch on some of them at first. So this is your opportunity to ask of Amy just about anything you want. And let me tell you just...
Real quick, if you guys could do that now, we're going to
do it now.
Go ahead and start writing down.
Before I give you a little bit more about Amy, I just want to thank our sponsors. And to me, teamwork with, you know, ancillary businesses to the real estate, as an adjunct to the real estate business, it's incredibly important to have those team people that you can trust. Over the years, you know, you meet a lot of people, a lot of different companies, and from home warranties, HMS warranty, I've always felt that there's good ones out there, but the thing that I think helps make them the best, and I say this for the mobility title and the law firm that backs mobility title, I say this, George Mason Mortgage, and a new sponsor for us, Town & Country Movers, woman-owned business. If you haven't used Town & Country Movers, they're great. I will say from a personal experience, they moved my son and his wife and 2 children, I think, maybe just 1 child at the time, to Connecticut. We contact them from Falls Church to Connecticut, I think 2 days before the move, because whatever fell apart, and they accomplished that. But the value of the team members to me is when they build relationships with you and you have an issue that comes up, generally speaking, these partners will step in and help you solve, you know, and fix that issue. And if somebody doesn't know you, do they really care that much about, you know, you're just a person to them. But if they have a great business relationship with you, they'll kind of go to the ends of the earth to help, you know, fix and solve problems. And there's lots of specifics, but we don't have time to go into all those. So our sponsors, George Mason Mortgage, Mobility Title. I will say this on the title side, the law firm Rose and Gallagher that backs up. If you have not started doing split settlements, I strongly encourage you to do seller side and split settlements. Your sellers need representation. AveryHess has been on this bandwagon for 3 years. A growing percentage of our agents are now utilizing the law firm. It's not the title company, Mobility Title, it's the law firm, but you're getting attorney representation, and there's no additional cost. Amy Cherry Taylor. So, I first met Amy Cherry Taylor 15, maybe 16 years ago, and she was 5'7". And so, over the years, as you can see, I'm shrinking a little bit, and she keeps growing in stature. So, she's just done this incredible, incredible job. And to put in perspective, when I read her numbers, I did sort of a little glance around the marketplace, kind of up here in Northern Virginia. No names, but top agents that you've heard their names all the time. 56 units, 88 units, 69 units, 40 units, 27 units. 27 units with an average sale price of $2.5+ million, you know, you're 65 million. There are some people within the company that are joking that once Amy hears this, she's going to move up here. But think about it, 56, 88, and you're considered one of the greatest agents out there. Try this on for size. In 2017, 153 listings obtained. She took, I forget which month it was, 23 in 1 month. I've never seen that in my career. And you start thinking about time management that she's going to talk about, time blocking as she calls it. 153 listing appointments, 140 or 50, however many sales, settlements, and the other acts. Where do you find the time? 198 transactions. 200 transactions. Those other people I listed, 50, 60, 200. By the way, average sales price, $288,939. How fortunate are we to work in markets that 5, 6, 700,000? She sells them like that, but 288,000, not quite 300,000. So just a couple things, highlights I've seen sort of along the way with Amy, and she can tell you the story, but early on we had a speaker come into the company, Marilyn Jennings. You know, it's like confuse her, somebody else. So Marilyn Jennings comes in and speaks, and as Amy told me later, Amy's in the audience, pretty much a rookie agent, and Amy goes, I can do that. And every coach, speaker, trainer basically talks about a system. And that's the one that resonated, and she followed, and she can expand on it a little bit. She farmed, geographic farming, sphere of influence farming. She had unbelievable leave behinds when she beat feet through neighborhoods and knock on doors. She joined groups, all the things we still talk about today, prospecting. So, incredible story, incredible productivity, and the greatest thing is just a wonderful, nice person that, that old saying that somebody can make lemonade out of lemons? That's Amy. She doesn't really get flustered at things. She may call once in a while with an issue, talk it through, but she always has this incredibly positive outlook on her consumer-facing business. Jen, we have a little something for Amy that we'll do it first. Hopefully everybody's filled out a question. We had to pick these on the way in. Thank you. If there's no other questions, let's have Amy get started and tell you a little bit about her. Who's collecting all the cards? Pass them kind of to the middle, and Ari and Jen will come up. Okay.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for coming today. I'm going to start trying to get used to this microphone right here. But first, before I start,
Phones. Make sure everybody turn your phones off.
I know that's the hardest part for all of us.
Yes.
But thank you guys. Thank you so much for coming today. I hope that some of the things that I go over today, what Scott says with Marilyn Jennings is so true. And I think that, anybody that I listen to, I always hear something. I always hear something that I can pick up, something that I can take back. But I do think sometimes there are just certain people who have a way of doing things, who have a way of saying things that tend to resonate with you. And so I just encourage you to continue. There's so many podcasts out there now and videos and instructors and teachers that are online. Just find somebody that does resonate with you, because I did, and it completely changed my career. First of all, I want to thank Scott and AveryHess. I've been with AveryHess my entire career. So I'm on 15 years now, and I couldn't have picked a better place to be. They have supported me like I would never have expected from a company, and I truly do mean that. And they are here to do that for anybody who needs that support. So I really encourage you to utilize your resources. There's so many smart, caring, wonderful people in this organization. So just make sure that you're reaching out and using everybody. They're all going to be happy to help. What I wanted to start with are some questions from you guys, because if one of you has a question, I'm sure quite often somebody else wants to know that as well. And I want to make sure that this session is about what you guys want to know and what I can help you with in your business. So I want to start off with some of these questions, and I'll try to kind of go through them somewhat quickly so that we can then go on to the presentation. The presentation is going to be about your business, and real estate is a business. And there's a lot of people who forget, they get wrapped up in the everyday duties and talking to people and calling people, that you are running a business, especially if you want to be in this business for any length of time. Competition is only increasing, especially as the markets change. If you're going to have a sustainable business, then you need to work in your business. So we're going to go over those things as well. There's two things that I wanted to start with before I do that. Here first. I'm going to pull my phone out for a second. So one thing that I wanted to go over with you guys real quick is, at the core of what we're doing, what do you consider to be your business? Right now, what you're doing is you are selling homes. That's our inventory. We don't have a product that we are picking up off the shelves and selling that product. Our product is what is out on the market. So yesterday, I went on Facebook and I asked my sphere what they consider, how do you define home? What does that mean to you? I think that's really important for us to sometimes take a step back and think about, what does home mean to people? Because this is what we're in the business of doing, of selling homes. We can get wrapped up in that every day where you're showing that 40th or 50th house, or you're in multiple offer situations and you're, for whatever reason, not getting the home, and you've been on listing appointments and maybe it doesn't go right, and you can get frustrated. And I think at the end of the day, we have to remember, what does home mean to people? And if you can remember that, I think that that's going to be an integral part of just really remembering what you're doing and why you're doing it. So I had a number of people who commented back about what home means to them. And one of them said, home to me is not just where someone can visit. It is somewhere that one can find safety and security, where they can stay. Home is my grounding spot. It is where I close my eyes and breathe deep. It is where I hear the familiar creak of the wooden floors, of the familiar hum of my AC unit. It is the gathering place. It is the window in which I am able to judge what I have accomplished in life by seeing my friends and my family here. Home is where we nourish our souls and reset our minds. That's also why the dinner table is the center of my home. We had a lot of people who went on and said that. It's a place where I feel most comfortable and relaxed with the people that I love the most. It's where we are. It's a safe haven for all that live here and those that enter. Home is anywhere your friends and family can enjoy being around one another, exchanging stories, eating, dancing, listening to music. Thank you, Mary Grace. So, you see this go over and over again, the same theme. Home is where your heart is, your security blanket. I think it's really... Daphne from Mobility said, home is where you take your bra off. She also had a very meaningful post before that, but I had to share that. So just remember, home is at the center of people's lives. You are helping them buy and sell their home, which is one of the most important parts of them and their family. And so I just wanted to say that and just remind everybody that, this is a little bit more than just the transactions, just how many sales you have, the income that we're providing for our families. It's a lot more. So I just wanted to start with that. And one other quick thing before I move into this, and this is going to kind of set the stage here. You guys can probably tell how many times I've read this book. How many people in here have read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill? Okay, so good enough. If you haven't, I really encourage you guys picking up this book. I read this usually at least once a year, and I always find something in here that resonates. It's called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And this is a book that every single year when I read it, I pick up something new, I pick up a reminder, and it's going to really talk a lot about mind frame. And you guys are going to hear that all the time, and we hear that, just in general, thank you, with life coaches now and ministers and things like that, but it's true, and this book really breaks it down. So listen to this quick little poem here, and then we'll get started. I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay no more. However, I begged at evening when I counted my scanty store. For life is a just employer, he gives you what you ask. But once you have set the wages, why, you must bear the task. I worked for a menial's hire, only to learn dismayed that any wage I had asked of life life would have willingly paid. And that's true. And that's one of the reasons why I got into real estate, is because you can get out of it what you put into it. And I worked for an amazing lobbying firm before I started real estate, and I loved my job. And one of the reasons why I started was because I had my first child. And I just could not go up and down 95 every day, and leave at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and get home at 8 o'clock at night. And no matter how hard I worked at that job, and I was doing great, and was moving up the chain, I was never going to get paid for the hours and the time and what I was really putting in, like you can with real estate. So I think we're in just the greatest business that you guys could be in. So let's start with a couple of these questions. Okay, tell me about your first year in business and how you got started. Budget, most effective form of marketing. How many of you guys have been in real estate for 3 years and under? Okay, good. That's exciting. Okay, and then everybody else, who's been in for over 10 years? Now I gotta up my game. A lot of experienced people in this room too. So first year in real estate, and I'll be quick because I could do a whole day on my first year in real estate. The first year in real estate is scary. I mean, you're getting thrown to the wolves and you're having to learn quickly as to what to do, and there's so much that you feel like you don't know. Well, I can tell you 15 years later, there's a whole lot that I don't know. And that's why I called and talked to Steven yesterday. I called and talked to Scott. I called and talked to Leslie. I called and talked to Pat. Even when I know the answer, a lot of times I call and just say, so let me just make sure that what I'm thinking is correct. I want to hear that reinforcement because things change so often. That first year, I will just have to say that I made a schedule and it was my business. And I worked it every day. And I did not get wrapped up into the being able to work from home and start a little bit later and go run an errand and do this, that, and the other. I really made that time that I was there focused, and I tried to talk to as many people as I possibly could. There was a number of different things that I did, and we'll kind of go into that a little bit later with prospecting, but I would say your first year in business, just learn the contract. Learn the contract, shadow people if they're willing to, go to your meetings, talk to your broker, go to as many classes as you can. You need to have that background just to build your confidence so that when you are speaking to people, you feel a little bit better about it. And I'll tell you, I'll never forget my first listing appointment that I went on. Judy Jones was our broker at the time, and Judy had been in real estate for probably almost 30 years. And it was a competitive listing appointment, and something came up, and I had to go by myself. And so I thought, oh my gosh, I really don't know what I'm doing here. And so, I had my presentation, and that's one of the things I'll say about AveryHess, use what we have. That listing book, you may have never done a listing presentation, you've done 5, 10 of them in your life. You take that book, you practice it, and you use it because it's going to provide so much information for you there. And as you grow, we'll go over some of the things that you should implement into that and make it personalized. My listing book is extremely personalized now, and it's to compete. It's to compete with the other agents that are out there because there's a lot of good agents that are out there right now. So you're constantly having to up your game. But when I went on that first appointment, they said, how long have you been in real estate? And I said, well, I've been in real estate for approximately 30 and a half years between me and my broker. I said, so we've got a wealth of knowledge behind us. I said, I've got somebody that I will never answer a question for you that I don't know. I said, there may be some times where I say, you know what, I'm not quite sure about that. Let me call you right back. But I'm calling one of the best in the business, and I'm getting you that information. And that, I got the listing, and it went a long way. People just want to be able to believe you and know that you're going to work hard for them.